All right, welcome to another episode of the Spurs Takeover. I'm your host, Joe Garcia, and today we got a full house. We're going to be joined by the one, the only, Ben Bornstein. We're going to be joined by Steven Anderson. Steven Anderson, he's making his first appearance here on the Spurs Takeover. I'm glad you're here with us, Steven.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, and we also are going to be joined by the one and only Wesley Perkins. And Wesley, it's been a little bit too. We were on I think two episodes ago.
Yeah, been a little bit of time, but glad to be back on. Glad to be with all of you guys, gentlemen.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and dive right in and talk about a Spurs win, and let's talk about LaMarcus Aldridge. We're going to go ahead and let Ben take this one because I remember Ben was awfully critical of LaMarcus Aldridge. He wanted to throw rotten tomatoes and eggs at him and whatever else we had that was rotten in the fridge at him. So
the one time I come on here and LaMarcus Aldridge has a bad game. The second time I come on here, he has a season high 39. There's literally nothing terrible I could say other than, "Oh, he should have made the only 4 shots he missed."
He had
That's
39
the only other
points.
thing I could say.
He had 39 points. He almost had 41.
Well, if for those who are listening to the Spurs broadcast, you would have really wanted him to go for 56 because they mentioned that several times throughout the second and third quarter, really, when they thought it was a real
They
possibility.
said, let's whisper in his ear, 56. 56.
Just keep it. That's what Tim Duncan does on the bench, Stephen. You see where I asked you earlier what he does on the bench? That's what he does. He whispers in people's ears and tells them, "Hey, your career has 56. You gotta do it."
I think he combs his hair on the bench, dude. He just fiddles with his hair, just enjoying life, you know. He looked pretty dapper, dude. He was wearing, nice sports coat. He had a buttoned-up shirt. He had some, I think he was wearing jeans, so you can't talk too much about Tim Duncan, dude. He's looking pretty fly there on the bench, man.
Yeah.
He's come a long way from those Jenko jeans, dude.
I knew that was coming.
Hey, you know what? Maybe we should get Ben to wear some Jenko jeans if the LMA goes for 56 points.
If he goes for another 39 plus, and you get me a pair of Jenko jeans, I will wear them.
You want to say you're
What's
sorry?
what's the bare minimum?
I'll give you the
What's the bare
opportunity
minimum?
to
Is
say
it
you're
25?
sorry
Is
to
it 25,
LaMarcus.
26 for that, or what? What's
He's
the bare
got to
minimum?
score. He's got to score 30.
30.
Okay, 30.
God.
Which he can definitely do.
Yeah.
He is more than capable of doing that again this season. So this is not an unreal bet.
So you want to say you're sorry to LaMarcus? I'll give you the opportunity.
Yes, I'd like to say I'm sorry to LaMarcus Aldridge. I can't believe I ever doubted you.
I think he scored those 39 points just for you, Ben.
He did. He heard me. This is the only reason I talk trash about players, because they hear me and then they end up balling out the next game and I look stupid.
No,
So
it's a good strategy.
If it requires me to look stupid in the entire year for the Spurs to score big points like this, so be it. I will be the fall guy.
So I'm going to give a quick shout out to Doris. Hey, Doris, what's up? She says hi. I said hi, Doris. And let's see what else. Oh, Frank Ramirez, he says, what's up? Nice win. And Michael, of course, is lying. He's laughing. He's saying, oh, my God. And we have a viewer here from Periscope. Shout out to you. Dre Wom 1. Go Spurs, go. Go Spurs, go. So we're going to go ahead and give you a little bit of the stats on tonight's game. It was a good game overall. You know, the Spurs, they kind of were, playing it close for the first half of the game. It was they were down by 1 at the half. OKC was up 57-56. That's an awful lot of points to give up in the first half. You know, the defense was a little soft. I'm going to put it like that. But it was soft on both ends. You know, both teams had a great offensive showing. Neither one of them was really interested in playing defense. And that didn't occur until the second half, So let's go ahead and take a look at some of these team stats here. The Spurs shot just a little bit over 54%. It was 54.3% on the night. They connected on 51 of their 94 field goal attempts. OKC shot 52.5 and connected on 42 of their 80 field goal attempts. Three-pointers, they outshot the Spurs by 1. OKC connected on 10 out of their 21 three-point attempts. Spurs connected on 9 out of their 20 three-point attempts, and Spurs shot 45% on the night. From beyond the arc, OKC shot 47.6. So you can't really complain that hey, either one was really hot from beyond the arc. It's pretty dead even, you know. Free throw shooting, Spurs connected on 10 of their 11 attempts. It wasn't a night that they really went to the free throw line a lot like they had been in prior games. OKC was the aggressor, and they went to the stripe a little bit more than the Spurs. They connected on 18 out of their 24 attempts from the stripe. So I'm looking at the fast break points that favored OKC. They had the edge on the Spurs, 18-13. Points in the paint, Spurs outscored OKC in the paint, 50-48. So it really was a close game, even though the Spurs were able to ink out a win by 9 points. What do you think was the deciding factor, Wesley, in tonight's game?
Easily turnovers, 13 turnovers. You know, you talk about what's been happening lately in the losses with 20 or more, and just ball control, and even in the first half, I think when you saw OKC make a run, surely they hit some shots, and there was a lack of defense as you talked about. But I think also part of that just was you started seeing the Spurs not value the ball again, and that kind of contributed to OKC jumping all over them again. And you saw in the second half a much more concerted effort, making good passes, simple passes. Not trying to do too much. There was a few times in there where you saw DeRozan back-to-back where he drove the paint, didn't know where he was going to go with the ball, and just kicked it to nobody or kicked it to Chris Paul or whatever the case may be. And I just felt like, once they kind of settled in that second half, and, of course, as Ben is apt to notice tonight with LMA, he was just on fire and having a good showing. And I think I hate to say it, I think we always want to say, what person is most important for the Spurs to play well, it's LaMarcus. I mean, when he's on, I think you could have an off game from, DeMar. I think you could, not have the greatest contributions from some of the other starters. But if LaMarcus is in a rhythm, it just makes it so much easier for the rest of the players to play off of him. And we saw that tonight with a good balanced attack, 5 players in double figs, and a good bench effort, not the greatest bench effort, but just, good contributions all the way around with Murray and with, obviously with Aldridge just going off for his big night. But, DeRozan had a good game. He didn't have to have a great game tonight. And, I feel like that's the formula for the Spurs to continue to win.
Yeah, Michael says somebody might not be wearing headphones because he's getting a little bit of feedback, I guess, in the audio.
Not me.
It is not me, sir. I'm wearing headphones. So.
I got my...
This isn't my Princess Leia look, I promise. I do have headphones.
So let's go ahead and see what else, who's joining us right now. From Periscope, we got Drewam1. He says, Lyles is a beast, timely offensive boards, and his shot is finally coming through.
Yes.
Things coming. Yeah, he did have a really good game. He was aggressive. Another person who had a good defensive game, I thought, tonight was Jakob Poeltl. Jakob Poeltl had a good block on the night, It was like, he's making the most of his minutes while he's out there on the floor. And we did have a Shizeme Metu sighting. Shizeme Metu was on the court in trash minutes, but he was there nonetheless.
Just the one.
Just the one. He was there.
He scored 2 points. But
yeah.
That's good offensive production for 1 minute of play.
And let's not forget, Joe, Lonnie Walker did play, so fans can kind of calm down now for another game. He played. Not that it mattered, but he played.
He did play. So, you know what? Let's go ahead and get your take, Steven. What did you see in tonight's game? And you can go ahead and finish your take with the Lonnie Walker to satisfy the Spurs fans, the masses out there.
Well, the Spurs Twitter or Spurs Facebook or wherever this is going to be broadcast, Lonnie Walker did play, so congratulations to him for his 1 minute contribution. But as far as the game went, it was a good Spurs win. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say, they played fantastic, because it wasn't a fantastic game from start to finish. I mean, there were times when the Spurs a little lethargic offensively, a little lethargic defensively, where they wouldn't score as much as you would think they would. But as you said, there was barely any defense in this game at all. From the minute the game started, there was a lot of scoring. And, I mean, I guess that's just the way the modern NBA is. LaMarcus was LaMarcus that we saw in Portland.
all those years ago. We saw him against OKC last season. We have all mentioned the 56 points by now. So he had a great game. Wesley, as you said, DeMar didn't have a great game. He had a good game. He didn't really need to have a great game tonight. We had some solid contribution from the bench. Not as much as I personally would have liked, but I mean, overall, it was just a nice team win. I think, particularly after losing 2 in a row and coming off a game that you had to, lost my train of thought. I think Joe left us.
What?
We get to be in charge. All right.
All right.
Okay, now I'm
Hello,
back.
everyone. I'm your new host. Just kidding.
No, I lost my headphones for a quick second, but I got them back, so I'm good. I was trying to read what everybody else is saying now.
Close.
Oh, you said, Steven, it's echoing a bit. There we go. Okay, so I fixed the echo, so we're all good. I'm always trying to do something behind the scenes here, man. While everybody's having fun, I'm always trying to fix a echo or do something or fix something behind the scenes. That's why I kind of look distracted while everybody else is talking, because I'm trying to perfect this thing, man, and it takes a lot. You got to be looking left and right at the same time, so we got it. Yeah, echo gone. I found out what the issue was, so I fixed it. I'm running a new system in the background here, and hopefully it's going to give us a really stable connection. We won't have any dropouts like we did in the past, and we'll be able to offer a better product to everybody. So we're still having a little bit of growing pains. Bear with us, but we're fixing the things the right way in the back. So it was one cable that was connected, so I apologize. CJ Majestic says, you do a good job. Hey, man, I'm trying, dude. That's all we can
man,
do.
Joe. I don't know how to plug anything in, so if I got one wire, that's all I know. So, man, I got mad props to you.
Yeah, I'm trying, man. So let's go ahead and get Ben's takes. Anything else you wanna say about tonight's game and in closing here, Ben?
I thought the biggest difference in this game was the rebounding battle. The Spurs ended up with 47 total, 12 offensive. OKC ended up with 31 total and 4 offensive. So I thought the Spurs did a great job on the boards, and it was a really good team effort. DeJounte Murray had the team high in rebounds with 8. Of the starters, LaMarcus Aldridge had 6, DeMar DeRozan had 6, Trey Lyles had 4, Bryn Forbes had 6, DeJounte Murray had 8. DeJounte Murray 2 boards away from a triple-double tonight, and he had a career high in assists in only 26 minutes, and that was also his season high in minutes.
Yeah.
They gave him a bit of a looser leash as far as the minutes go tonight. So that was nice to see, and it will not surprise any of you that LaMarcus Aldridge was a plus 18 while he was on the court, and Trey Lyles second best at a plus 12, DeMar DeRozan right behind him plus 11. So, a really nice effort from the starting 5, and everyone's touched on this a little bit. Steven touched on this. There was only 27 points from the bench tonight, which it was fine tonight. They got the win, so there's not much to complain about. But 27 points from your bench is not going to cut it a lot of games. There's got to be better production there, and I'm one of those Marco Bellinelli truthers, as they're described. He went 1 of 10 tonight for 3 points, and he
made 1. Just kidding.
I
was just
he can open his eyes
too.
now on that other one too.
Right. Exactly. I'm pretty sure he hit that 1-3 with his eyes closed, and off balance, off 1 foot, something.
Of course.
But to be expected. But there are going to be calls the rest of the season for Marco Bellinelli to get less minutes, and people are willing to take their lumps and the growing pains that may come with playing Derek White more minutes and Lonnie Walker more minutes and Damari Carroll more minutes. This is going to be a game that people point to and they say this is exactly why Marco Bellinelli shouldn't be playing many minutes.
See, I
don't know if I agree with it yet. I think this season is still young. I think they need to give him a few more games, but it doesn't look good. I'll put it that way.
Right.
Well, let's just say this. One thing that everybody can notice about the Spurs thus far in the season, it's only 8 games into the season. They play an awfully better game when they're at home. When they're on the road,
Sure.
they still have some of their issues. And I
Mm-hmm.
attribute that, and this is the thing that a lot of Spurs fans have to understand. It doesn't mean that the team is horrible. It just means that we have a young team. You all wanted
Mm-hmm.
younger players. We have younger players. They're kind of inexperienced, and inexperienced young teams notoriously have issues on the road. That's what's happening again this season. We're having a
Right.
return to normalcy in the lineup. We have DeJounte Murray now, who's running the point. We have Derek White, who's running that second unit. And I think the rotations are starting to slowly get locked in. There might be a little tweak here or there still. We might see maybe Marco's minutes get diminished a little bit and go to somebody else. We don't know that though. We're just assuming that might happen sometime down the road, but we really don't know at this point. DeMar Carroll is just insurance. Don't expect him to have a really pivotal role in the offense this season. He will get some minutes. It's more than likely going to be, when somebody's out resting, things of that nature. Same thing with Lonnie. Lonnie will get minutes, but mostly I believe Lonnie will get minutes when they're on the road while somebody else gets some time to rest, and we'll see how he's progressing. But I think it's a bad look on Spurs fans' part to start calling for trades and start throwing the team under the bus when we're only 8 games in the season. Let's look at the team really come the All-Star break. Let's evaluate their performance then to get a better gauge of where they're at. We can't say the season's a bust 8 games into the season. They have a winning record right now. They're 5-3. So I think Spurs fans need to chill a little bit. We're going through some growing pains right now, and it's to be expected. Things will get a little better, but they might not be better on the road. It might be a little bit better, but not a dramatic improvement like they're thinking, where the Spurs are going to win like 63 games. That's not a realistic expectation. Maybe 50, 53 at the most, and that's still pushing it. So we got to be patient with the team. It's too early in the season to start throwing in the towel and demanding trades. It's nuts, dude. Y'all need to chill. So anything you all want to say in closing? We'll go ahead and start off with you, Wesley.
Yeah, I think the jury is still out. I mean, you guys hit upon this a bit. When we look at this team, the lineups that they have, we don't really know. And to Joe, to your point, the growing pains are this duo that they have with LaMarcus and DeMar. Sometimes it's really hard for these younger players to play with because you have a guy like Murray whose best attribute is to get his team involved, to slash to the basket, to have his energy. And you saw that a few times tonight, even with LMA, with where he pushed the tempo. LMA went up the floor with him, and you got some easy buckets. But to me, where we still have kind of the jury out about this team is what happens, when the game slows down, when you get a good defensive team against the Spurs. Because some of the pieces still don't feel like they fit. And I say that just because you've got two stars that need to dominate the ball in order to have their points, in order to have their production. And then you got the young guys, like you have all said, that are coming in fresh and they've got the legs. So I'm just curious, whether, we talked a little bit about Marco, but I'm kind of curious if maybe a solution in the future doesn't happen to be, say a Bryn Forbes to the bench to come in with that second unit with Derek White, and maybe Marco to get his confidence by starting. Pop will do those kinds of things from time to time, and it may pay dividends in the long run. And I'm still going to push for it. I know y'all may not agree with it 100%, but at some point, I really do want to see Derek and DeJounte on the floor at the same time. With the smaller lineup, maybe with one big. Just a little bit more run and gun, turn them loose, let them have a little bit of offensive flow, because I feel like the best way to utilize some of that young talent that we haven't seen just yet against some of these more formidable opponents coming up is going to be how you utilize those guys playing together.
Yeah. Let me give a quick shout out to somebody who's watching us on Periscope right now. It's DMC Majestic. He says Benanelli just went 1 of 10, so we could rack up some offensive rebounds. He goes, "Come on, guys." Same guy says the same viewer. C Majestic says, "We are very mediocre at the moment, and Spurs fans have such high expectations because of history." I kind of have to agree with him on that end. Spurs fans always want the Spurs to start off right out the gate winning and going on these 18-game winning streaks or something crazy like that. Those days are gone. We're not that team right now. We don't have Timmy. We don't have a Tony. We don't have a Manu. And that probably won't ever happen for a long time. Probably not in my lifetime. So whoever we do get, it's unfair for us to kind of, still at times I think we compare them to the greats. We have to get away from that already. Let's face it.
We have Kawhi. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, we don't.
No, I mean, let's face it. LaMarcus and DeMar aren't going to be the next coming of, Tim Duncan or David Robinson or Tony Parker or Manu. It's just not going to happen. This is a different team that's trying to form its own identity right now, and we have to be patient to see who they are. I don't think they know right now. That's just my opinion, and we're going to see some mediocrity. It's okay, though. It's part of the growth. It's part of the process, so we have to be patient. Anything you want to say here in closing, Stephen?
Yeah, so basically what all of you guys have said is true. I mean, Joe, you're right. Fans got to calm the heck down. I've been on Twitter myself saying the exact same thing. It's what now, 8 games in the season. I mean, if it was me, I would love for the Spurs to be 8-0 right now. I really would. But I mean, all of us would. But I mean, it's just not going to happen. There's going to be games where they're going to struggle. And one thing I've noticed the past 3 games, including today's win, is their 3-point shooting or lack thereof. They haven't shot the ball well from 3. Tonight, it really didn't matter because LaMarcus Aldridge went off he went off and it was good. But the Spurs are shooting from 3 like the people fighting at the Popeyes for the chicken sandwich. I mean, it's getting pretty bad. I mean, it's getting really, really bad to where I'm wondering, is it going to go in half of the time? And you got a guy like Bryn Forbes who can hit threes. We've seen him hit threes consistently. He's been also sporadic a little bit. So that's where my concern lies in this team moving forward. It's not so much the defense. It's not so much the offense. It's shooting from 3. And in this modern NBA, you have to be able to hit from 3. Joe, you and I have discussed this multiple times last season, where the Spurs have to be able to hit from 3. And they just do not have the players right now that will get that done. As far as the Lonnie Walker, Marco thing goes, I think that's where Pop is making a little bit of a mistake. Ben, you pointed out Marco was 1 of 10 tonight. That's not ideal shooting.
One
I
of
don't know
our
about
viewers pointed it out as well.
that too. Correct. So it's been pointed out Marco has not shot the ball very well, and to start the season, that's not a secret. I'm more surprised that Damari Carroll has not gotten more minutes, considering he was one of the bigger signings of this offseason for the Spurs. To me, the rotation should go, and I know you guys may not agree, but it should go DeMar as a starter. Damari Carroll comes off the bench, then Marco, then Lonnie. Lonnie, to me, has not really proved himself just yet to where he needs to get. The guy hit a shot off the backboard. He just came off the bench. I mean, I know you just got off the bench. Come on, you're going to hit a shot off the backboard against the Clippers. Against Atlanta, he literally throws an inbounds pass so far out of reach, it's a turnover. I mean, that's just basketball 101 right there. I mean, that's what I'm saying to that point. But that's what I'm saying. I'll give you a second, Ben, but that's what I'm saying, that's where he hasn't really proven himself. And I use that term very loosely, very, very loose. I'm not saying the guy has to go out and score 20 points. I'm saying the guy has to string a couple of shots together, stay in front of your man defensively. Little things will get you minutes in Pop's system. Ben, go ahead.
I absolutely agree. Lonnie Walker it's not quite come together yet. I think both physically and kind of mentally in the game. But if you want to talk about mistakes, there was a point tonight where LaMarcus Aldridge had a turnover because he stepped over the line.
I saw that.
Just throwing that out there.
Man,
Even
your Lamarcus hate is real, man.
if we're gonna get on Lonnie Walker for this, we got to get on our stars for this too, right? That's how this works.
Hey, Ben, you can't help having like a size 25 shoe. Come on. I mean, it's just sometimes it just happens, right?
Hey, but to Steven's point though, if Lonnie Walker is to get any better, he's gonna need minutes. How are you not gonna expect him to grow if he never gets an opportunity to get out there on the court? And really, I think at the end of the day, that's the argument that Spurs fans have. They know that he can actually play a lot better than he's playing, but the issue is the minutes. They want to see him out there in the court, and I can understand that, but at the end of the day, it's like we keep talking about, there's just not enough minutes to go around, so it is what it is.
But real quickly, the minutes that Lonnie has had, not including tonight, but the minutes that Lonnie has had, and I'm not talking about garbage time, Spurs are up by 20. I'm talking about like second quarter, Spurs are up by 3 or 4 points. The minutes he's had, he has not taken advantage of those. Like I said, he threw a pass off the he threw a shot off the backboard against the Clippers in the second quarter when they lost to LA. In Atlanta, he was in, I believe it was the second or third quarter. He literally threw an inbounds pass so far out, it was a turnover. Those were not garbage minutes. Those were significant minutes he had, and he has not proven himself. But you guys are correct in saying he needs minutes to prove himself. I'm not saying he doesn't, but if you're showing Pop, who, and all of us know Pop right now, the way he is. If you don't show out there you're capable of giving him something, he's not going to play you. Whereas we've seen him play DeMarre Carroll a couple of minutes here and there. He had about 5 points in 4 minutes in one of the past games, and now he's slowly getting more minutes here and there. Whereas Lonnie is not doing that. So you're right, he needs minutes to contribute. But if you're not taking advantage of the minutes that you're getting, significant minutes, why should Pop put you out there more if you're going to screw it up? Whereas Marco, Ben, you're right. Marco can't hit the side of a barn, but at least he's competent enough to know, hey, I can't throw the shot off the backboard, or I can't throw an inbound pass so far out. Whereas, he may not be able to make a shot, and if he's not making a shot, he's really worthless out there, sorry to say, but he's a veteran enough to know the basics. And I think that's where Lonnie and Marco are kind of different in that way only, where you're going to get time, but you're going to have to make the most of it. And as much as Marco makes me want to tear my hair out sometimes, the guy really knows the basics. And I think that's what Pop is looking for right now. And the same thing with DeMarre Carroll. DeMarre's a veteran. He's even getting more minutes at this point over Lonnie, significant minutes, because he's proven himself. That's all I have to say on that.
Yeah, but from the 1 for 10 shooting for Marco,
it's bad.
Tonight he was as worthless as one-ply toilet paper, bro.
Hey, let me point this out, guys, and this kind of goes back to the same thing we're talking about. This is kind of the fundamental problem that I see with this team right now is that I hear what you're saying, Stephen, and I agree. I think you're right on the money, but at the same token, this team's not going to get anywhere with Safe, because Safe the last few years has really taken them to the point of nearly not making the playoffs. And, we're just talking about this. What realistically is their record at the end of the season? Is it 50? That's probably the ceiling, right? Mm-hmm. So if that's the case, with all of these duos in the NBA and the parity that there is, I don't think you can afford to keep running the Safe option out. I think you've got to give him some minutes, even if it's against a quality opponent, even if he's going to make some of those mistakes, to see what you really have. And if he doesn't, if you give him a couple of games where you give him 20 minutes, to prove what he can do in a larger swath of time, so be it. But, and I know it's lesser competition. We're talking about the bottom end of everybody's bench and the Las Vegas stuff. But he was a dominant force this summer against lesser opponents. So he's got skill. He just hasn't put it together. He looks a little shell-shocked against the real talent that he has to face. And so I kind of feel like, not to spur on fans a little bit more, but at some point you got to stop being safe with guys that have been in the league for a long time, because that what that gets you in this modern NBA. And at some point you got to go with your athleticism and see what you can get. And if not, ship them to Austin, let them get some more play, and go with your team and pick up somebody else.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Is that at this point we saw the Spurs assign Chimezie Metu to the Austin Spurs yesterday. Obviously, he was in tonight. He had that goaltend for OKC. He's going to be heading back now to Austin later on tonight. But I mean, you're right. What you said earlier, way back when we first started, Wesley, you said you wanted to see Derek White and DeJounte play on the court together, and I agree with that. I want to see that too because that'll be a damn good defensive backcourt right there in both Lonnie. Excuse me, I'm having Lonnie in my head. Derek and DeJounte. And you're right about that. I do believe we will see that once DeJounte is off those minutes restriction, you're going to see him and Derek White close games together. And I think that's exactly where this team needs to go. I mean, we know DeJounte can play defense. He looks like Kawhi Leonard. Sorry, Joe, for mentioning Kawhi's name, but I mean, he looks like Kawhi Leonard out there defensively a little bit. So he looks very, very good. We know Derek White can play good defense. We saw that last season. We're seeing it a little shades of here and there this season when he's on the court. So we know it's going to be a good defensive team with those two on the court. And I do believe, I know Spurs Twitter, I know Spurs fans have said that Derek White, DeJounte, and Lonnie are the Spurs' future, and they are the Spurs' future. There's no doubt about that in my mind. The Spurs are in very good hands with those three as your stars moving forward after this LaMarcus and DeMar era is done. That's not a problem. I'm all for that. I will advocate for that right now in November, whatever it is, 6th, 7th, whatever the heck the date is. I will advocate for that right now. But as far as currently in November, Wes and Ben, you and Joe, all three of you guys know Pop is not going to do that off the bat right there, whereas it's going to come in February, January, when LaMarcus gets that rest period, when DeMar gets that rest, because you know he's going to rest those two as the season moves on. That's just how he does it. And that's going to be the time for a guy like Lonnie, a guy like Derek and DeJounte to play together. And then I think that's when Pop will make his adjustments to the rotation that maybe we haven't seen, which he's done in the past. So I think just what you said, Joe, at the beginning, be patient. All of us, including us, we have to be patient too, because I mean, like I said, I would love for the Spurs to be undefeated right now in top of the NBA. I'm sure we all would, but it's going to be growing pains, as you said, Joe. It's going to be a situation where the Spurs are going to struggle offensively, and we're going to be on the show a couple of weeks from now, be like, guys, they couldn't hit anything. What's going on? They can't play defense.
No, the headlines are going to be: is it time to hit the panic button?
And some fans already are. And I mean, you said it earlier. It's 7 or now 8 games into the season. Let's evaluate after Christmas and see where they are then. But right now, let's just relax.
Yeah, I'm just going to be chilling. But before we go ahead and end this stream, let's go ahead and give everybody a chance to go ahead and let people know where they can follow them on social media. We haven't heard from Ben in quite some time. So, Ben, talk to me, bro. Are you still there, man? You're still with us?
I'm here. I just, Steven and Wesley were just getting into it. I was enjoying it. It was great. I mean, there was nothing I could say that they hadn't already said, other than never forget LaMarcus Aldridge turned the ball over because he stepped over the line.
The one stat of the night that really mattered. That's the one stat of the night that mattered to Ben.
That's my one jab. I got it in. All right. But you can find me on Twitter at @the_Boomstein if you want to talk Spurs, if you want to talk Spurs draft prospects, if you want to talk college basketball in general. I'm your guy. Hit me up. I love all of it. I will take your tomatoes, all the throwing of your tomatoes, your trash talk, whatever it is, and we'll have a good time.
Yeah, we'll have a good time, man. And make sure you throw all your LMA hate towards Ben tonight. He did step over the line, man. That's it. His 39 points, I guess, are worthless now, Ben.
Yeah, they mean nothing.
It meant nothing because he stepped over the line.
Yeah, if it had been at the end of the game when it didn't matter, it probably would have been fine. But it was I think it was at a time when the Spurs were in the middle of a run, or they were trading baskets with OKC when it was in a 2-possession window, and I was like, that's just the one turnover you can't have.
What are you gonna Lord, do? Man. All right, and Wesley, where can they follow you on social media and interact with you?
Yeah, my Twitter's at Wesley Perk, and we, Ben just hit on. It's great to be in college basketball season. We've started. Gave me an outlet the other night when the Spurs were playing terribly. That flip over to Texas Tech and watch them play some basketball and just get a chance to see some good hoops starting up again, and just some great stuff. And just to add on to the LaMarcus thing, I think Ben, your hashtag is hashtag not 56 tonight, right? You know, that's a good one for you. But nonetheless, lots of stuff to talk about. Fun time of the year. Got college football still going. Got college basketball. Got pro sports all over, and NBA ball, and obviously the dumpster fire that the Astros are going through right now too. So looking forward to talking about the Spurs.
Didn't they let go of Nolan? They let go of Nolan Ryan, didn't they?
And Reed, yeah.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, so they're restructuring. Yeah. There's something going on.
Yeah.
Maybe somebody did something in the back end there, and they're like, oh no, we got some video evidence of some ongoings behind the scenes.
They just now saw the Nolan Ryan fight. They're like, "Oh, I'm sorry, we got to punish him for that."
Oh God, here
we go. Back when.
That's a podcast for another time.
Yes.
But yes, breaking news though, I did change my profile pic to the Black Cat from the Cowboy game. He was the MVP.
He scored a touchdown for the Cowboys, did
he? He did, and he has more followers, I think, right now than the number 2 than the Deuce.
Oh, wow. And he got on the field more than Eli did, too. Oh,
there you go.
Hey.
That he did. So let's go ahead and go with Steven now. Steven, where can they interact with you on social media?
All right, so for all social media, for Spurs, Rampage, SAFC, anything sports-related, and, of course, Popeye's Chicken comments, you guys can go and follow me on the Stephen A __ on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. It's a Stephen with a PH, not a V. I've had people ask, so yeah. So Steve with the PH, it's Stephen, the Stephen A _, and I look forward to seeing and reading your tweets and all of your Lonnie Walker hate.
Oh my God. You don't want none of that Lonnie Walker hate, bro. It's real, man. These fans are going to come after you, man. I try to give you a way out, Steven, but you dug yourself back in again, man.
Welcome to my world.
Yes.
All right, well, they can go ahead and get a hold of me at Two Shots Podcast. It's all spelled out, TWOSHOTS Podcast, and I am on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. So you can go ahead and find this video on YouTube as well, and I'm pretty sure that Michael A. De Leon will go ahead and put this up on the Project Spurs website along with their write-up. So look for that at projectspurs.com, and also check out the other great content that they have coming out at Project Spurs Network. So for Steven Anderson and Wesley Perkins and Ben Bornstein, I'm Joe Garcia, and thank you all for watching another episode of the Spurs Takeover. We'll see you all later, and go Spurs go!